Hey guys, it's me, Made Up Jen, and welcome back to my channel and welcome back to a nail video. So today I'm gonna go ahead and show you guys a nail look that I did using a new brush by the brand Easkep. This is their Kolinsky acrylic nail brush in the size number 12. I bought this off of Amazon. I was looking for a new brush. I was so tired of the brushes I already had. They kept getting acrylic stuck on them, so I was like, I need a new brush. So I went ahead and bought this one, and it's cheap, but I was like, screw it, I'm gonna give it a try anyway. So I'm gonna go ahead and start off with the Mia Secret Nude Blush Cover Acrylic Powder on my pointing finger, and I am going to do a V-cut French tip nail on this finger. So I'm gonna use this Mia Secret nude blush on all of my fingers, FYI, but I'm gonna go ahead and tell you guys one by one what I'm doing. So I'm gonna go ahead and grab a medium-sized bead, and I'm gonna put it just a little bit under the cuticle area, and I'm just gonna try to create the V as close as possible without, having to go back in there and file so much of it. But I do try out this little blade thing that I bought from Amazon. I've had it for a while. I just haven't really bothered to use it until now. And I don't know if I went a little bit too early where the acrylic was still not dry enough for me to slice through it, but I kind of just give up. I was just like, screw it, it's too tough, I don't want to deal with it. I'm just gonna go ahead and do it the way I've always done it, which is just build it, try to get the V as close as possible, and then I'm just gonna follow the shape if I don't get it right. Just FYI, it's okay if you do not get it right on the money. With the shape, you can always go back and file it. I just do have one caution thing that I do have to mention. When using any of these cover acrylics, they're not super pigmented where they're supposed to cover up so much. They're more of the, oh, these are for ombres, but I use them because I am too cheap to buy myself an actual acrylic color with this color that you guys see me using. But every time you go back in and you add on a bead on top on certain areas, when you file that down, you're gonna see cracks and wedges of where you added that extra bead. So just beware. You want to get the consistency of the bead on the first try, and then that second bead, it's okay if it's on the cuticle area. You just want to make sure that you are getting the right consistency. And right here, I'm just adding on more of the acrylic. It's crazy because I cut some of it off, but then I realized, wait, the nail I have is actually kind of long. These are the longest nail sets I've done. And I've tapped my finger on this I don't know how many times already, but on my pointing finger, like I said, I am doing the French V-tip, and then on my thumb I am gonna go ahead and do the same motion. I'm putting in the cover, but I'm going to slant it, so I'm trying to go for like a side cut on this one, and then I'm gonna add a different color on the top portion of this nail. So if you guys have seen my video from like 2 years ago, you guys know for a fact that my acrylic application has changed immensely. I used to put really big beads, and then I just filed it down, and there you go, you would still get the same results, but you waste a lot of acrylic. So with a lot of these acrylic, every acrylic system is always going to be different. There are some acrylic that require a little bit more liquid to the powder, and then there's other ones that are going to require less liquid to the powder. And then obviously it all depends on how big you want your bead to be. So I am the type of person that doesn't really do the one bead method. It's just not my style. I go with about a medium-sized bead most of the time, and you will see me go in with a small bead but that's only to cover little areas that I might have missed the first time around. Like on my thumb right here, you guys see I do have a couple of little sparse areas where I'm just gonna go back in with little beads and try to get it to cover as much as the nail, so you know you can't see through it. So I'm just working in the acrylic. And also don't forget, every time you are working in the acrylic, you want to make sure that you're always cleaning the cuticle area. You sometimes can't always see what you have in there, but if you keep cleaning that cuticle area, it just makes it much easier when you're filing down everything. And then also sometimes you can't even see the acrylic when it could be stuck to your skin until it's dry, and then by then it's already, you know, it's already too late. You guys are gonna see me constantly clean up the whole time, because you need to clean up the whole time. And I'm just trying to get the shape as close as I can. It doesn't have to be perfect. You can always go back after and file it once it's dry to get the shape you want. I'm just trying to perfect it to the point where I'm like, okay, this is as good as it's gonna get. And I actually do admire my acrylic application on this, because the struggle's been so real, guys. I still consider myself a beginner even though it's been 2 years. Just remember that with the application, you want to tap and pull, but you don't want to pull so much of the acrylic. You're kind of just like sliding, you know, down. It's like you're applying polish in a sense. You're just sliding down, cleaning up, putting little beads. And then right here, I do see that my pointing finger, it's a little bit dry, and I do see that I'm missing a couple of parts. I just want you guys to know that at the end, when I file this down, I do have like some weird wedges, cracks on just this finger specifically, not even my other fingers, just this finger specifically. I guess because I cut some of the acrylic off and then I went back in and added it again. So when I file this down, I have like wedges and cracks of where you can actually tell where I added too much acrylic and where I didn't add enough acrylic. So you'll see it's gonna be covered obviously with the color, but there are gonna be some wedge color, like crack things in there. You're gonna notice it towards the end. So I'm just letting you guys know, this is why it's really important for you to try really hard to get it all in a medium-sized bead, like just the main center part of it, you know, because that's where it needs it the most. So right here, I'm just going in with little small-ish beads and I'm just filling it in. I'm trying to get the shape as close as I can. Also, the forms are your best friend. There is a line right down the center. I don't know if you guys can see it, but there is a line down the center of the form, and that is my actual guide. So that's telling me, hey, this is where my point needs to be, and I just gotta build around this, which is what I'm doing. And FYI, this brush is amazing. It helped. It was really good. I had no problems with it. You guys see me, I'm going in with little beads, I'm going in with medium-sized beads, I'm going with every type of bead. It's helping me clean up. This is a number 12 brush. It is a little bit big. You do have to figure out the liquid to powder ratio on this, especially if you've used like a size 10 or a size 8 brush, because this is a big difference, but it is really easy. I do suggest this brush if you are new. It's really easy. And then for my ring finger, I am doing the same thing that I just did for my thumb. So for my thumb, I pointed the cover from left to right going up. So for my ring finger, it's gonna be right to left, with my left going up in that slant. I just wanted to do it a little bit different. I didn't want them to be the same. Every time I do my nails, I try to do different designs and different stuff on each nail. A, to practice, and B, because I want to see what it all looks like all mixed together. I usually do like the French tips like on my pointing finger and my pinky, but I was just like, no, I want to try something different. Let's see if I can do it. I actually coach volleyball, so because of that, I'm usually not able to have acrylic nails. equal long set nails. These are the longest sets of nails. So right now I am actually off season. I'm not coaching, I'm not doing anything other than working out by myself. So I figured, let me go out with a bang before I start coaching again next month. So these are the longest set nails that I've ever done, guys. Believe it or not, it is. And I've bumped my fingers I don't know how many times already because I don't know how to act with these long nails. I literally did just this hand. You guys see me, I'm doing my left hand, and as soon as I finished my left hand, I didn't do my right hand until the following day. But this left hand, I just want to go with my nails, like I just want to tap on everything, and I just want to, you guys hear that? I'm just going like with my fingers, like yeah, what's up, And I just don't know how to act with long nails. And I have been a tomboy my whole life, so I was never into actual nails until I got a little bit older. Until pretty much close to my 30s, I decided I wanted to do nails. But right here I am just going in, I'm building in. And just remember, every time your bead, when you apply that bead onto your nail and it looks like it's drying down really fast, wipe your brush, dip it into the liquid, tap some of it off, and then go back into the nail you're working on, and that will definitely help move the acrylic. Also, don't forget to turn your hand in different directions a lot. It helps guide you in case it looks crooked. So next I'm gonna go ahead and use the Savillon acrylic powder. This is in the color Mary Blue. This is an acrylic system that is sold on Amazon, and also they have their website. But if you have Amazon Prime, I would suggest you just get it on Amazon. So for my middle finger, I used a small, very wet bead, because for this acrylic powder system you do have to get the beads a little bit more with liquid. You can't have this one in between where it's a little bit of liquid and a little bit of powder, or it has to be more liquid to powder on this acrylic. You guys see it, it looks like it's going all over the place, but it's not watery to the point where it's sliding everywhere, and that's what I'm talking about. With each acrylic, you have to work it different. Not all acrylic powders are created equal. They all have a certain type of liquid to powder ratio. They're not all the same, because for the Mia Secret, I have to use about the same amount of liquid to powder in order for it to move, where it doesn't dry down too fast, or it's not a dry enough bead. But for the Savillon one, you do have to have a very wet consistency with it so that it works, because if not, it dries down super fast and it gets hard really fast and you can't really work with it. So right here I am just doing a marble, as you guys can tell already, a marble effect on this middle finger. I go in with the blue and I slide it all over the finger, and whatever's left over, like little open spaces, I'm just gonna go back in with the nude blush cover that I just used, and I'm just gonna go in there and add little beads of it everywhere, and just mix it in until I'm satisfied with the look. So for this one, I'm just gonna go in and just try to fill in as much as I can. Just remember, for this one, it does not have to be a thick base. It can be, you just want to keep it as thin as possible, because for this one I am going to encapsulate it, so you don't have to worry about it being so thick, because you have to encapsulate it after anyway. And then for my pinky, I'm gonna go in, you guys see I'm going in with a way bigger bead, very liquid very, very wet. I have to go in like that because I've learned already. If you've seen another video, I do have another video with this exact color. I use the trio that this system actually comes in. It is a 3-pack. I'll link it up below. Everything I use, I will link it down below, by the way. So as you guys see, this one's a little bit more of a liquid consistency. It's not running everywhere, but it looks very wet, huh? So again, I did have to use a little bit more liquid to powder on this in order for you to be able to maneuver the acrylic and also for it to not dry down so fast. I have to make it work at some point, you know. With it, you have to figure it out on your own. I know all of us at some point have had to figure it out on our own. So this one, again, much liquid. I am going to ombre this pinky right here, so I am going in with the blue just at the tip, and then once it dries down and everything is fine with all the other fingers, I'm gonna go back in with the Cover Nude Blush and try to ombre it. And now that I am satisfied with what I've done, I'm gonna go ahead and remove the nail form things off of all of my fingers. So all of the acrylic should be dry by the time you get to your last finger. So as you're removing this, in case you don't know how to remove nail forms, you have to remove the top portion that's wrapped around the finger first, and then when you get under, you pinch under and then you pull off the form off of the actual acrylic nail you just built. And the reason why I'm removing the forms now is just because most of the acrylic should be dry by now, and all I'm gonna do now at this point, I'm gonna go ahead and just finish off the ombre. I was just waiting for that blue to dry down before I go in there. The one thing you don't want to do when you're doing an ombre is you don't want to apply that top ombre color over the under acrylic when it's still wet, because it will mix in together, and you don't want that, because then you'll end up with a marble effect instead of an actual ombre. So you want to wait for that tip color you put on there first to dry, at least dry enough to where you can apply that other acrylic over it and it doesn't ruin it. Also, when you do apply that acrylic over the top to do the ombre, you want to make sure that you're not dragging the acrylic over the other color. You're pretty much just, same thing as I mentioned earlier, it's like you're applying nail polish. You're just swiping it down and you're blending it. If you do go too much over that other under color, like that, you know, I have the blue obviously, but like for example, I go over that blue a little bit too much with the blush, the nude blush color. So I just use my brush, and with the tip I'm gonna push it up, because I'm like, wait, this ombre looks way too, you know, more of the nude blush color and not enough of the blend. So it's okay, you can push it. If your brush is not wet enough, it's gonna be hard for you to do this. Don't forget to keep wiping your brush. Don't forget to keep dipping into the liquid if it's too dry. Also, one of the most important things you guys need to know when it comes to doing an ombre is you have to be patient. You have to make sure that you're mixing the colors well, and you're not gonna always get it if the acrylic is not helping you either. So the acrylic has a lot to do with it. Sometimes the acrylic, if it's too dry or if it's too pigmented, it won't blend the way you want it to blend. That's why it's always good to use cover base colors. So a cover blush, a cover pink, those colors are the ones you want to use to do ombres. You could do it with other solid pigmented acrylic powders too. I just have the preference of doing it with a cover. It's more easier. And now I'm just gonna go back in with that Merry Blue color that I've been using this whole time, and I'm just gonna start filling in all the empty spots I left for that color. So like on my thumb, like I said, I'm doing it in a slant diagonal. So I am not going to encapsulate any of the fingers. The only finger I am going to encapsulate is the middle finger, and that's because I purposely left it that thin to encapsulate. But for the other fingers, I left it thick enough where even if I know, if I file it down, the color will still be there. That wasn't the case with the cover nude blush, but with this Savilen Merry Blue color, it's so pigmented that even if you file it, it's not gonna go away completely. So I just, I was trying really hard to do it as perfect as possible where I didn't need to file so much of the color off anyway, and I didn't do it so thick. Again, my form of application has changed a lot since I started, since you guys saw my first video. I'm more of a, okay, I gotta make sure I'm doing it fine. And if it goes over the nude blush color, it's fine. You can file that down anyway, and you can just apply some more acrylic after just to fill in what you filed down. Usually you would have to just encapsulate this, and that would solve that problem. But for me, I just wanted to finish, to be honest with you guys. It just, doing my own nails takes so long. Like this set of nails, I'm not gonna lie to you guys, took me 4 hours. It took me 4 hours, and the only reason why it took me 4 hours is because the filing part. I still haven't gotten down the filing part 100%, so that takes me the longest. Like I'll file something and the next thing I'm like, damn it, one side's more slanted than the other, and then I'll be like, oh damn it, but it's still a process. Not everything's gonna be perfect. At some point it took me like 8 hours to do one hand because of how bulky and how bad I was at applying all of this. But practice makes perfect, guys. You just have to practice. You just have to do your own thing. Don't worry about how thick it is, how thin it is. You will figure it out on your own. Everyone has their own nail style. Everyone has their own acrylic style. Everyone has their own method of how they do nails. A lot of the Instagram nails that you guys see, they look more flat. That's probably like an Gel X system. That one, you just put it on your nail and then they paint over it, so that's why it looks so flat. But with acrylic, you can do that, but there's no structure, there's no base that holds the actual nail, so it makes it hard for the nails to last and not break. And once I'm done applying the blue, I go back and check over all the other nails just to make sure I don't need to fill in any sparse areas. And then right here, I'm just gonna go in back with the Cover Nude Blush, and I'm gonna just refill in the cuticle area, any areas that look a little sparse, that look like they need a little bit more acrylic, more covering, and it's okay, again, if it becomes a little bit more thicker the second time around. You are gonna file most of this bulk down anyway, so for me it was a whatever case. But I'm just gonna go ahead and continue doing this. I will check back in with you guys once I am done. And once I am satisfied with everything, I go in with this Modelone's glitter. It's this little mini 1 ounce set jar thing that I got in a packet on Amazon. And I was gonna originally put it on this thumb, and then as I put it on the thumb, I was like, wait, you know what? I don't know if I really want it on here anymore. I originally had this thought, this view of what I wanted to use it for, but instead I ended up just taking it off while it was still wet. You gotta make sure you gotta remove it ASAP, quick before it dries down. And I just removed most of it, you know, the same method I used to remove some of that ombre color, you know, how I was doing it earlier. And I did the same thing, and I just applied it to the middle finger. And once I am satisfied with how it looks, I'm just gonna go ahead and encapsulate it. I am using the Young Nails Speed Clear to encapsulate it. It dries down really fast. You have to work with it really fast also. The temperature does determine how fast the acrylic will dry, so beware. If you are in a house where the temperature is over like 70, it's gonna dry super fast. So I'm just gonna go in and keep encapsulating it. I put the first one in, and then I'm like, wait, it's not thick enough, so I'm just gonna go back in and add more of the Speed Clear, and I'm just gonna finish encapsulating it. And once I'm done, I'm just gonna go ahead and file off camera. And then I'm gonna go in with the Young Nails Manicure Sheer Pink polish. I know you're like, wait, what? Like, why are you coloring over it? And the reason why I'm coloring over it is because, like I mentioned way earlier, the cover isn't opaque enough where if you file it down, you're not gonna see through it when you file it. So I thought if I added this sheer pink just in the nude blush areas, I would be okay. And also I'm using it as an adhesive to what I'm gonna do with my thumb and my ring finger, which you guys are gonna see in a bit. But I am trying to put it on there. It's really sheer, you can't even tell it's pink. I just use it mostly for an adhesive for this foil that I'm going to use. I'm going to use the foil on the middle sections of the thumb and my ring finger to, you know, decor. Remember how I told you guys it doesn't matter if it's straight or if it's perfect, you can always make adjustments, and this is my adjustment. I didn't put the glitter, I ended up putting this instead, and I did have a hard time tearing this in little pieces, so I just went in with that blade that you guys saw me use at the beginning, and then the little sticky thingy, the one that's supposed to grab the jewels to put on your nails. I don't know what it's called, but I used it and I started ripping off the pieces so that I can get the small pieces I want for my nails. So I'm just gonna go ahead and start sticking them in the middle section until I am pleased with how I like it. Again, I didn't encapsulate. I probably should have encapsulated after this, because if you don't encapsulate or you don't put something that's flat enough when you apply that top coat, you'll have bumps. You can touch my fingers where I put this foil and you can feel the foil. You know, it's not smooth enough. So I probably should have encapsulated these, but I was just so lazy. Like I said again, it took me 4 hours and I was just like over it. I was just like, I just want to be done with this. I just want to finish this. Like I said, I didn't even do my right hand, I just did my left hand, and I'm just looking, trying to see if I need to fill in little spaces here and then. And then after I'm done with this, I'm actually gonna go ahead and put it in the light for 90 seconds. And then I'm gonna apply top coat, and the top coat brand I am using is from the brand Vanillisa. I really do like their top coat. It's been one of the best top coats that I've bought from Amazon compared to the other ones that I have bought. I will, like I said earlier, I will link everything I use down below. And here's the problem with not encapsulating that foil. Again, I'm gonna keep mentioning this because this did become an issue towards the end of my nails. You know, I just said I was trying to get the hell out. I was trying to just finish already. So some of the foil did get caught onto the top coat. So for the top coat, you want to go ahead and go around it, and if you do manage to get some foil stuck on the brush, I don't know if you guys see that little plastic thing I have with the red on it. Every time I would get like a little piece of foil stuck, I would just go on that little plastic foil thing and wipe off that little piece, so I wouldn't keep wiping it off on the rest of the nails, which did end up kind of happening. I did get some of that foil on my pointing finger, which I did have to remove later on, but I tried to go around it as good as I possibly could, but I still got some of it stuck, obviously. But I'm just gonna go ahead and finish off top coating the rest of all of my nails. And then once I am done with putting it under the light, I noticed that again the foil is still stuck on there. So I go back in with another coat of top coat to just kind of make that barrier a little bit more thicker, so you can't really feel the foil, but like I said earlier, you can still feel it. I'm rubbing my thumbs right now and I can feel the bumps from the foil, so I do recommend encapsulating this if you plan on doing this. And then I'm gonna go ahead and finish off with some Young Nails Rose cuticle oil and rub it all up in my cuticle area, and then I'm gonna go ahead and kind of like pull my skin on the sides just in case any of the acrylic might be stuck on my actual skin. So I'm just rubbing it all up in there. You guys see that? I'm pulling my skin. And these are the nails, guys. Let me know what you guys think down below. If you like this video, please make sure to like it, and if you haven't already, please make sure to subscribe. I will see you guys in my next video. Peace.